baby. Week three. I tell you, the season continues. Unbelievable matchups. Tons to cover tonight on the HFFL Commissioner Wrap-Up Show. Tonight's episode featuring Hitler's Hot Takes. Hitler's Hot Takes, ladies and gentlemen. We have Jakey, Adolf Hitler Dweck in the booth for episode 4. It's episode 4 because we had a pre-show snippet. So I consider this to be episode 4 of the epic HFFL broadcasting run. Jake, Hitler's Hot Takes, you pumped?
I'm pumped. I'm happy to be here. Finally. I was a little sick. I was on the IR for a couple of weeks, but I'm back. So very excited to be here.
You look great. We're super excited. And folks, the left side of the screen, this tells the story, I think, of where we're currently at. First and foremost, congratulating weekly points leader from week 2, almost 50-50, Edguy and Jack Set with a whopping 165.5, really taking the league by storm. You see it. I mean, the screen does all the talking. The top 3 teams just really dominating the league right now. And then when you look at the next highest points, you got to go to the number 9 team, I believe. Yeah, so it just shows you how fine of a line it is between success and failure in the HFFL, and you need that luck also to come your way. We've reached. We want to start off the show with takeaway time.
Takeaways.
TTs. Takeaway time. Let's start with you, Jake. What's your takeaway from week 2?
My takeaway from week 2 is it's amazing how everything changes week to week in the HFFL. I know this is a personal note, but going from tying with 86 points to being in one of the most intense matchups of the weeks with Dano and coming out with 151 just goes to tell us that although, yes, I agree, the top 3 teams are up there and they've definitely been setting themselves apart thus far. I don't think anyone has truly separated themselves. I looked through all the rosters. Everybody's got holes. Everybody's got strengths. Almost 50-50, doing great. 165 plus points, whatever the heck they scored last week. Mahomes, is he going to continue throwing 10 touchdowns, for in a 2-week span? I think, are they peaking early? Classic Eshab to peak really early, knowing him. He's going to trade away a lot of those assets that usually, he could have held on to.
Yeah, he's going to make a move. He's going to make a move.
Playoffs,
How could you be itching to make a move right now? Yeah, you had 306.
Took a look at Token Liberal. Also, been great. They've been dominant, but their receivers are atrocious. They have Marquise Goodwin out there right now as a starting receiver for this week. I don't even think he's playing. So, you take a look at all the teams around. You have some really strong teams. I think Irv is a very deep team. I think Ho is actually a stronger team.
Clown show.
And his record shows. I did notice Dano calling himself the number 9 seed with the 4th best points. That is ho. We did notice that, Dan. That's a nice personal shout out that you gave yourself.
It's the truth.
It's
the truth.
But in looking at all these teams right now, I think that nobody's actually completely separated themselves. I think that even the bottom of the barrel teams, other than Nay's team is shit. Nay's team is really, really dog shit. And Alo's team's pretty crappy too. But other than Nay, I don't think anyone's really that bad. So that's been my takeaway thus far.
Okay. Well put. Okay, I know you have some good hot take for today.
Well, whenever you have a good week, a bad week, you always learn your lesson a little bit. This week I learned my lesson hard. You gotta start your studs. You fuck around, you do stupid shit, you lose by 2.5.
You put a poll up on the HFFL asking managers, who should I start? And I will go with who you said. Yeah, you're going to get fucked.
Silly.
I said Tyrod Taylor. I told him Tyrod. I don't care if you...
I started Tyrod. It was a tie. I decided on Tyrod.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Were you able to see the votes? I'm really curious to see, how did Zeke vote?
Yeah, how did Zeke vote? Great question.
It doesn't say who voted what.
Because we have to pay an extra $30 for that. Could we have more funds? We need to amp up the production value of the commissioners. You know, not production of the managers, of the GMs. You know, fuck the commissioners. Just the GMs need to be able to have more to sink their teeth into. But that's a great takeaway. That's a great takeaway.
Sorry, Stubbs. You draft the guy.
Go past the matchups. You drafted Matt Stafford for a reason. He's got to be in your QB2 spot. Got to
learn the hard way.
He's throwing the ball 60 times a week, Abe. 60 times a week. How do you bench that guy?
I was interested in Tyrod's
high upside. Was he high upside?
Yeah, high upside.
Well, versus who?
His first week he had 77 yards and a touchdown rushing.
luckily you won't have to worry about that
14 points
again.
right there.
Yeah.
Matt Stafford threw 4 interceptions the first week. But that's the lesson.
Okay, that's your takeaway. I love takeaway time with Ogre. My takeaway is just, it's a bitchy takeaway, but it's just my takeaway. So what can I tell you? I think fantasy sucks.
Woo.
I think everything about it sucks. That's not to say the HFFL sucks. No, because the people in the HFFL is what binds us, is what makes me happy, you know. But the fantasy football sucks. They got to figure out a better format, a better something, but just too much heartbreak. Actually, they don't have to do anything. They have to keep everything. It just hurts too much. That's my takeaway. But I think I'm going to bounce back this week. I think there's going to be a lot of people that bounce back this week. All you need is a win, just like Jakey said. His takeaway is so true. You know, from week to week, all you need is a W. Just give the people that are 0-2 and 1-1, give these guys W's, and winning just cures all and heals all. So hope those guys bounce back, and we keep the pack closer and tighter and making way for a great season. I want these guys at the top here to really lose. We'll go inside the numbers shortly on that. We gotta crown the winner of bounce back performance candidates from week 2. We want to give the winner of that. We had Kareem Hunt was on the docket, Shady McCoy, and Travis Kelce. So Kareem Hunt had a decent game. He got in, but the 13.5 is not Kareem-like numbers. Shady McCoy, I tell you, this guy needs to find himself. He's on a putrid team. I wonder what you could get trade value for him. Even Jakey, what do you think you could get right now for a Shady McCoy?
I don't think you get much for Shady. He's hurt. His offense is atrocious. I don't think there's much value in Shady, which I think is what really. I don't think there was much value at Shady in the beginning of the year. I don't think he dropped off too much to begin with.
So if you're Shady McCoy's GM, are you starting him week 3? Can we get the matchup, please? Sorry, it's Bills.
Absolutely not.
It's Bills against
Minnesota.
The Vikings at Vikings.
He's playing Minnesota, and I don't think he's healthy. No, definitely not starting Shady. He's questionable right now, and that's a tough Minnesota, front line right there.
And Nate doesn't even have him in his lineup, so Nate's hip to that. I love Nate's name. I think the only thing Nate's done right this year is his name, Nate Peterman. Yeah, I laugh every time I see it. I really do. I think it's great. Kudos to that.
Beating Allo is definitely enough. Beating Allo was another great thing that Nate brought to the table. Great thing.
Huge thing. We'll talk about that in the Pewcat matchup segment, because let's not even give this guy the time of day. Too early in the show to talk Allo. That's how irrelevant it is right now. That's how irrelevant it is.
I will say one thing, though, just going back to Karimi then. I do think 13.5 is where he will be at for the rest of the year. I don't think he's, in that offense. Mahomes throwing the ball. Tyreek's a huge part of the offense. We saw last week Watkins really step up. Kelce stepped up. I don't know if they're going to be running the ball. He ran the ball, 16, 18 times. But I don't know if Kareem's going to be that 30 guy. Maybe he'll break some 20s. I think on average, he's going to average around the 15 for the rest of the year, and not more than that.
That's very fair. They're slinging it. They got weapons. But I don't think they auctioned him to be a 13 to 15 guy. So then he's going to have a very disappointing season. I was expecting him to bounce back. If this is going to be Karimi, unload this guy. No?
Yeah, yeah. I don't
Yeah.
disagree. If you could get
But
any value from him, which you probably can't after this podcast, but if you can get any value from him, I would dump him
Fresh meat.
and try and see what I could get. That's just an opinion. I know that they're hanging on to Spencer Ware. He's not getting many carries. He's not eating into it too much. Just seems to be the focus of the whole offense. But let's see once it gets cold. Things could always change. We can't just sling the ball that way anymore.
I hear you. I hear you. But the airtime really goes to our winner, Travis Kelce. The guy was just in fuego, unconscious, 28 and a half. Every time you turned around, he's catching another touchdown pass up the seam. I tell you, huge upside with Mahomes and Kelce all year long. And Mabruk to Travis and his family for being our week 2 bounce back performer. In giving a little now in closing the chapter on week 2 and in opening week 3, we start off with who our week 3 bounce back candidates are. We start off with David Johnson, and I tell you, Alo's got to be kicking himself, losing by 6.5 points and having David Johnson put up a stinker. I tell you, an absolute stinker. 4.5. And where is this guy? Where is this guy? Just keying in. That's the only weapon they have. They don't have anybody to get him the ball out in space. Who's their quarterback here right now? Sam Bradford?
Still Bradford.
Terrible. Terrible. So we're throwing the challenge flag out to David Johnson, see if he's going to bounce back. Rob Gronkowski, a 2. I know they were triple and quadruple teaming, and the Jags defense was saying, we're not going to get beat by Rob Gronkowski, but got to show more than a 2.
Agreed.
OBJ with a 7. I don't think that's OBJ numbers that you need, and Matthews beat you by what, 1.5 points? So they needed every point there. So OBJ throwing the challenge flag out to them, and throwing the challenge flag out to a group, a unit at home, got to tee off against a very bad Bills team, Vikings D. Last week putting up a 3. This week, no Everson Griffin. Huge, but you got to overcome it. And the person, if you're going to draft the Minnesota D or the Jacksonville D, it's got to be opportunistic. So that's my week 3 bounce back performance. So we'll see what happens. What happens there?
Could I add 2 names to the list?
Oh my goodness! Of course, Jakey.
So in looking, I actually two more stud receivers that I think, while they didn't put up terrible numbers, but I do think they're going to bounce back in a big way. Julio, I think he put up about an 8 or 9 last week. He doesn't score touchdowns. I think we figured that out. Julio just won't score touchdowns. He's going to end up the season with 3 or 4 touchdowns. That's just who he is, I guess. But against New Orleans, in what probably should be a high scoring game, I do see Julio having a big game. And I know I said this in the chat, and I know, Dan, you're not going to like this. I know he put up 11, 12. I think AB is going off to the races this week. I think he's going to have 16 targets plus, and I'm looking at AB with a 30 this week is the way I'm seeing things. He's angry. He wants to prove everybody wrong, and for AB, an 11.5 is not AB numbers. So I see him bouncing back with a 30 plus performance this week.
Okay. Listen, I had him on the fringe of my players to watch as a bounce back performer. He did score double digits, 10.5. It might just be a dud of a year for AB, so I just might not be able to.
AB doesn't dud. AB doesn't dud. Tampa sucks even in the rain. No, I think that's gonna be a shootout. You got Fitzmagic, you got Ben, shootout.
Great Monday night game, by the way. Great Monday night game. Very excited about that game.
Obviously, you
are excited to see Mike finally starting Fitzmagic. That's nice. That's nice.
Can we go to introduce our next segment though? Because I think we really need Jakey for this. It's time for the winners and the losers from the Week 3 waiver wire pickup. Can I go to the pickups for a second? Here, I want to get Jakey's take here on a couple of high-profile ones. This Corey Clement. What'd you think about Corey Clement?
I think Corey Clement is a good week, this week fill-in. I don't think he's a long-term asset. I think they spent a little too much on Corey Clement. When I looked into the numbers and looked at their team and saw who they had to start, I understood what they were doing. I just did think that they spent a little too much, hoping that he'd stick around. I don't think Ajayi's going anywhere. But with Derrick Henry and Dean Lewis being the other options, it's probably a good play for this week. He's going to see some catches. He's going to see a lot of, with Ajayi, he's going to see a lot of touches. So I like that pickup. I don't know if I like it at 29. I bid about 11 for him, and I think I was the next closest. And that was even a stretch when I put that in. I just really thought I really need somebody, hides and beasts, so I didn't. But so that's what I thought there when it came to Clement.
I think, and then the next one is I agree. That's a plug and play. What do you think? That's a plug of a hole there in week 3. What do you think, Ogre, about Corey?
Yeah, if you need a bye week, like a little plug and play.
Right.
He's going to be the guy getting carries, but I think he's injured a little bit.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder what Easy Chef has published
today. He should play and get the majority of the carries.
Questionable.
Well, we have no Ajayi, we have no Sproulsy. Clemens here, it's being treated as a primary back, and he's very shifty. I can catch.
Yeah,
I can catch balls. I like it. I think that's a winner. Yeah. The Giovanni Bernard, I think, is also. I mean, when you have a $6 discrepancy, I think that's a masterful bidding job. 24 and 18. I think that really is. There's no spread there, and I think he's gonna be great for you, Jakey, this week. Definitely.
He better be after drop. It was a loss already right now with Hyde's putting up a 22 last night, but you can't look at that.
And I think the loser here is obvious in the Cleveland D. Those guys didn't show last night. Put up a 4. I liked Cleveland D this week. I also bid. I was very upset when Nate Peterman outbid me for them. But hey, this just might be Nate's year to be in the cellar. It just might be. He hasn't been in ROM mode. I haven't heard from him. Well, nobody's heard from him. Where's Nae? You know where Nae is?
That's Nae. That is Nae in a nutshell.
Yeah.
But
you got to reveal yourself. You can't be in calm, conceal yourself mode consistently. Reveal yourself one time.
I don't disagree. We didn't touch on Ridley. Doesn't look like anybody else bid on him. So I think Ed, went out and spent a lot of money this week after coming up with the points leader. But
Calvin Ridley is such an Ed guy.
I didn't understand. Yeah, I didn't understand that. But who knows?
No, because he's thinking I see where he's coming from in the sense that he's going to cut into Mohamed Sanu. Mohamed Sanu was a very valuable player for Matt Ryan.
Great, yeah.
He's great. If he could, and Calvin Ridley's definitely a talent, but is he ready to be consistently good? To put these guys, WR3 is one of the toughest things to solve and piece together, and you always have a question on who you're gonna start. I think there are a couple of managers that do it well. I think Alo's one that does it well. I think Token Liberal definitely does that well. I think those guys have a knack of who to start. Have a track record of knowing who to start. So yeah,
I just think that offense these days without Shanahan, pretty crappy offense. So I don't know if I love Ridley right now, but who knows? Who knows what he'll become? I do think very under the radar pickup was Moxie, and again, maybe it's because I'm playing them and I'm noticing it. $0 picking up Baltimore D like that. I think that's in midweek. I think that's a nice pickup. They should have a decent matchup this week against Denver. That's just my quick opinion.
Love it. Love your hot take. Another Hitler hot take. I love that. I love that. And you could sprinkle it in whenever you damn well please. I'm very, very fat. But without further ado, I need you to introduce everybody's favorite segment of the show.
Watch.
We got your eyes on you, baby. We got our eyes on you. Oh my goodness. Part Mariota Pucat matchup of the week. The guy scored a 72, and we're getting to him. In his head on the Keelan Cole is he definitely watches the show. We know we have one viewer. Allo watches the show and influenced by the show even.
No, we have one.
Keelan Cole rides the bench, would have got him the win. And it's just, listen, spending all that time on top is going to put a bullseye on your back moving forward, and you got to overcome it. What can I tell you? Right now, his team is not good. Your QB1, Alex Smith, not the Alex Smith we've grown to know and love thus far, and that receiving core. What?
No TD Julio. Crappy Brandon Marshall, 100-year-old Brandon Marshall. Unnecessary Randall Cobb. Losing David Johnson.
I tell you, does he go 0-3 this week? Jakey, does he go 0-3?
Oh, no. Is that what we're watching for now?
That's the Allo watch right now.
Hello.
That is the Allo watch. 0-3.
I believe he does go 0-3, and I think that as long as he keeps losing, this segment continues. But he doesn't even deserve the amount of time that we're spending on him right now.
No, he needs it all. He needs the time. He needs this time.
But I do.
He spent too much time on top.
I think mid Sunday, I think I threw in a question to the commissioners of, did the commissioner podcast show bully the shit out of Allo when it came to Keelan Cole? And I think the answer is a resounding yes. A resounding yes. He drafted him high, expected to play him high. I don't even know who we started over him. And that was amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I think he goes to 0-3. His team's terrible. I can't imagine him not going to 0-3.
Just don't be deceived. He's pulling out all the stops. He's right now starting somebody that has 0 on the projection. Marcus Mariota. We're all going to think that the 64-36 and Saquon these nuts is a real type of projection. Next thing you know, put a human being in that spot, and we got another 12 points, and we got a bowl game. I think this is definitely going to be a bowl game. I think it's going to be a battle of wills.
Here's my question for you, Dana. Who is that body that he's putting in? Is it Josh Allen? Because he does not have a QB to put into that spot. Is it Randall Cobb he's gonna flex? I mean, yeah, he might pull up another 10 points in the projection, but does that really mean anything? Marshawn Lynch, Brandon Marshall. I mean, these names are from these are 2003 All-Stars. That's who this team is.
Living in 03, baby.
Yeah, definitely is. Alex Smith. I mean, you look at these names. All high picks. Number 1 pick, Alex Smith, Sammy Watkins, first round receiver. Brand names all over the place, but just not good, not good play. Lamar Miller, first round pick. The pedigree's there, but the team sucks. The team sucks, man. I don't know. I don't think there's many players.
But he's getting handouts left and right. He faces Nate Peterman last week. Should have even won that, And this week, Keskisi does another David Njoku start. How do we do that? I don't know what this guy's thinking. Jack Cohen must really love Njoku because I just don't get it. He's reading about all his he's a freak. He's so talented. Blah blah blah. Can't piece it together.
Eric Ebron 2.0. Maybe he'll start scoring touchdowns in 4 years when he's traded to Indianapolis. Other than that, I mean, this guy's just not a good player.
So your official pick here, but I got to tell you, his receivers are better than are projected. In what world is Mike Evans going to score 13? This guy's going to have 25 plus. 25 plus. Eat up. That's not a real projection. And Hogan on the 9.5. I like DK's matchups this week. I really do, and I think he sends Allo to 0-3, 100%. 100%.
I think so too. I think Connor's going to have a hard time this week. I think that's his time that he comes back a little. Evans, I had Evans last year. Evans very capable of a 12, but I do think he's been great with Fitzpatrick. I think the Godwin is a stretch, but I mean he's been seeing targets. If he continues to see targets, he needs to score. He just needs to score. Otherwise, he's banking on a TD from Godwin. So I don't know if I love that play per se, but there's not much choice with Baldwin hurt. Do you start Gordon? Is he playing this week? Probably not, but that's going to be a huge boost to Dave next week and going forward. Dave's team's pretty good overall. I don't think they're great, But with Le'Veon comes back, if he comes back, if Baldwin ever gets healthy, but he might not. Hey, he needs a tight end. He should give us a call for Travis Rudolph. He definitely needs a tight end.
All you guys stashing tight ends, you're not going to get real players for Trey Burton, Ogre. You're not. You're not. Mitchell Trubisky is his quarterback. Stop trying to pawn off these tight ends to us. We're still okay piecing tight end together, Jay. We can piece it together.
It's a backup.
Just don't start David Njoku again. You can't do that. You can't do that. Cannot do that.
He's definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Alo's team this week. I definitely see a loss. But like I said, I do think Julio is going to bounce back. So he's the only bright side I'm seeing here.
And I think Saquon Barkley really has himself a day. I think he definitely has himself a day. And I think David Johnson gets stymied by that Chicago defense. The matchups are not lining up for Alo to get his first win here.
That D is going to be rough on that.
But everybody knows that Alo does have something over DK, similar to you and AB.
Mental edge.
There's an Alo DK mental edge when it comes to fantasy.
100%.
That I don't know. It's going to be hard for him to overcome, but it's an even year. Alo thinks in even years.
So segueing to the next matchup that we wanted to feature on the screen, a matchup that's already, two tenths done here, with Moxie at 1-1 and putting up a 26. Great game by Jarvis. Good game by Quincy. Quincy's never really gonna disappear. He's a great WR3. I drafted him. Can't believe I dropped him. Unbelievable scoop by Moxie. They've been making all the right moves this year, and playing a Jakey team that really put up a big week last week. And I think this is going to be a great matchup. I love this matchup. Olga, what do you think here?
I think Jay has some nice matchups going on. Deshaun Watson against the Giants will put up some monster numbers at home. And I don't think Brady's going to do it in Detroit on Sunday night. I think he's going to fall flat a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I have Tom Brady having a huge game Sunday night at Detroit. But I do have Deshaun Poo Kangaroo hooking up with Will Fuller 1 to 2 times against, or 2 to 3 times against the New York Giants defense. Exactly. So I think shit happens is going to give Moxie a very big run.
Absolutely.
Melvin has a tough matchup at LA, very tough matchup at the Rams, but I think A-Rob. Enough. How many fucking catches this guy's going to have? So I think it's going to be very even. I give the slight edge to shit happens to go 2-0-1. That tie really did wonders.
Moxie starting both Washington running backs. That's very interesting.
That's some misdirection here to the commissioning staff. I don't see how that happens. But who's his bench here? Joe Mixon's hurt. Royce Poo, maybe, and Rex Burkhead. They're not going. You're not going 2 Washington running backs. You're not. But I'd respect it if you did. But
AP's riding the bench.
Right.
I think AP's riding the bench this week. Chris Thompson definitely scares me a lot. I have to tell you, I was very confident going into this matchup until Baker came out. And the tides just totally turned. I mean, Jets were putting up a 12, 13. They were getting sacks. The defense was doing fine. Landry was just getting some little dink and dunks. This 2-point conversion. He was never going to throw a touchdown to Tyrod Taylor. I'll tell you that much. Confident. And Baker really turned the tide. So I am no longer confident, especially seeing Hyde consistently, break through that goal line. You can't waste 2 touchdowns the way that we just did. As DK says, I'm calling this game, so I'm not going to make any picks. Not so confident in this right now, but thank God I have an AB. He's my confidence. He's excited. He thinks that we're going to kick ass. So let's see what happens.
Okay. The next segment, we play each other this week. We can't really say what's going to happen here. Jay, you want to pick the game for us, please?
Sure. So as I mentioned earlier, I do think that Pittsburgh bounces back and Hugh bounces back in a huge way. He's going to score 40, but I think Ben's going to be ranging the 20 to 25. I think AB is the 30 plus. Thielen is going to continue. The Bills defense is atrocious. Casey's got a lot of holes on D. I love Gurley. I don't care who he
Can't hear him.
Yeah, no.
Jay, we're having technical difficulties with you, Jay.
is. Whatever. Will Dissly's interesting. He's gonna get some plays. And Philip Lindsay, I gotta tell you, really showed me something last week. I played him, and this guy runs fucking hard, man. I don't know by Dan Eric without benching Trubisky. I'd probably go with Trubisky over Latavius Murray here, but that's not here nor there. I think that Rodgers is still a little hurt, a little banged up. So I'm not loving the Rodgers Devontae this week. Al Galore has been great. Howard, and not the biggest fan. I think Dano takes this one. I think Dano takes this one by about 20 is what I'm seeing here. I do think Chicago defense is going to put up about a 15-18 though against this abysmal Arizona team.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, your mouth to God's ears, big guy. Your mouth to God's ears.
I played you last week. I watched your team closely, man. It's a lot better.
We gotta cut. It's not. Jay, we can't hear you, big guy. Jay. I gotta go anyway. It's Shabbat. Yep. Let's just wrap it. So Nate Peterman and Matthews give it the time it deserves. I think Nate Peterman does not win this game.
No, I think Wentz is going to be a little.
Hold on. Big apology though on the Cleveland guys. I didn't realize I bashed the Cleveland pickup. Incorrect to do so. They had 2 INTs a second. I thought they had a 4, a 3. My bad. So Stat Boy's going to kill me after that. Strike that from the record. I think Matthews wins. Deshaun definitely shows up. And I think another week with Tevin being the bell cow puts him over the top.
I think it's going to be a really close one. It's going to come down to Monday night. Deshaun versus O.J.
Howard.
Should be interesting.
He did some good things on the wire, Nay. I think O.J. Howard at $6 was a good one as well.
Yeah, he's got some real talent.
Yes, he's a stud, the guy. The guy's a stud. Going to a very interesting matchup. I think this could be the matchup of the week, if you ask me. So excited for this one. I think a desperate, salty ex-commissioner. And I tell you, his team is good. He just throws an expert pity party, so much so that it brings out the worst in his players. Brings out the worst. Can we go, Mike C? Can we go Kirky Poo to Thielen? Come on. I love his. I really, dude. Everybody's in double digits. 127 here. I think but he's facing a fucking juggernaut. Look at this matchup. Breeze and Cousins. I think I give Breeze the edge. Actually, but Cousins is at home against Buffalo. Could be pretty even. But Breeze a slight edge. Tyreek and Keenan. I like Keenan there.
I like Tyreek. I always like Tyreek.
Okay. Playing Niners aren't too shabby. Corey Davis and Kenny Galladay. I like Galladay. I like Galladay.
Absolutely.
Marquise Goodwin, Amari Cooper. Who the fuck knows? I tell you, is Cooper going to give us the 1 for 9, or is he going to give us the 7 for 99? It's crazy.
7 for 99, more like 18 for 380.
Crazy. The guy was nuts. The guy was in fuego.
Yeah.
So Amari there, Kamara and C-Mac. Kamara gets that edge all day. Kenyon and Breda. This might even be what decides it.
Yeah.
Who's going to have Breda just coming up at 22.5? Kenyon, I don't even know. He's just quietly steady. Is that what's his?
What's his
6.5 and a 14. Not bad. He got in last week. RB2. But Breda was electric last week. So let's see what happens there. Challenge flag on Gronk. We need him to show up against Evan Ingram. Garbage time. TD Ingram. Crazy lucky there. And so I give Gronk the edge. Fitz and Bortles. Fitz gets the edge. Forbath, Bailey equal. Houston, Minnesota. Minnesota D gets the edge. To me, I think Mike C gets the edge in slightly more players. I think this comes down to 3.5 point difference, and I think it's a very high scoring affair. Final projection: Mike C, 157.5.
Whoa.
Token Liberal, 152.
Whoa, that's a monster matchup.
Monster matchup, and they get their first one.
Wow, I'm going to go with Token Liberal over Salty X Commish. Kamara and Tyreek Hill are going to put up monster games, 40 points each. Take them out by
Love it, love it, love it. Let the games begin. Enjoy your weekends. Special thanks to Jakey for Hitler's Hot Takes. Amazing segments left and right. Great to be here. Love you all. Take us home.
HFFL.
HFFL.
Bye.